Geminis. How are you guys doing? Welcome, welcome. Whew, what a week, guys. Cannot believe this week is over already. For those of you that are brand new, my name is Patty. I'm an empath that tells stories. I do, don't I? I'm actually an intuitive tarot reader. I also do astrology and numerology with my tarot. My tarot is actually divine driven, so very spiritually driven, second dimensional driven for your path, your journey, your struggles, your challenges, to help you lift you up, inspire you, and help you get through your tough times of your journey anyway. So this is for the week of the 5th through the 11th. And for those of you that are returning, love seeing you guys. Thank you so much for supporting my channel and subscribing. It's really means a lot. And I hope this resonates with you in some manner that helps you in your life. So let's get going. And for those of you that have asked me, do you pray before you do? Yes, I do. In fact, I pray all day long. So Divine and I have a very tight communication. So I do talk to him a lot. So here we go. So no announcements other than there is a full moon video out there. If you have not watched it, may want to reach out. I know that the full moon energies are pretty much, that they have dissipated. However, the reading was all about, and the astrology. So when I do my moon and retrogrades and stuff, it talks about the astrology part and then it goes into the reading. So you might want to watch that because this is going to pertain to almost all of April. April, we're sort of in a rut and we're also sort of trying to get balanced, as well as it has to do with relationships. So you might want to take a peek at that. And it's just the moon, full moon in Libra. If you look at that video. The only other announcement is if you don't understand the like button, that's really important to us YouTube creators. So don't forget to like your YouTube videos that you guys watch. Could be anybody's, and if you enjoy it, don't just take a second to hit that like button, because YouTube analysts really watch those. So really pay attention to those and really help the YouTube creators out. Welcome, Phantom. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And also too, for those that are brand new watching for the first time, you will see me on live every single reading as much as possible as I can do, unless I was like in the hospital. I had a knee replacement a few weeks back, so I'm a little squiggly, so bear with me through my chair. But I do live and I do chats, because if you do have a question, if somebody is going through a struggle, it is really important to reach out on those energies right away and try to get those answers, because you could be steered in the wrong direction. All right, so that's why I leave those open. I think it's important every week to have a reading for each sign, because our life changes. I do one every day if I could, but my time doesn't allow it. So and I try to get them as close to the week that I am doing as possible, because you want those energies right next door to each other. All right, so let's get started. And also for those that are new, please know that when I pull my oracles, my 3 oracles, the first one is the divine, in what lesson or message he has for you, something maybe you need to be working on here. Maybe this is for your journey. It'll resonate with you in some way. Second card is for the current energies, the 5th through the 11th. And the third card, nope, too many cards. And the third card is about the future energies. Now, if you listen to me or watch me, you'll hear me say that the future energy is usually through the weekend and the next week. Not in this case. So the divine has told me something is coming up in the next 2-3 months. And every time I talk about the future card, I hear 2 to 3 months, 2 to 3 months. So this energy is going to carry. And it's sort of like what we talked about in the garden. And I'll go through that if you've never watched my videos before. I'll touch through that through the readings. All right, so let's get these energies going. Let's see what divine has offered for you guys. Yes, I love that. Thank you for that. Oh my gosh. Definitely. This is awesome, you guys. This is really awesome. Reason why is when I looked at this first card, which is the divine's energy card, is this is also what the planets are saying. And this is exactly how we want to start thinking and working. So this is not just Scorpio's lesson or Virgo's lesson. This is everybody's lesson, and the reason is because we're not doing it very well, and the divine says I need you guys to really hone in on this communication. And this is number 5 in numerology, which means it's unstable. It's not working, or it needs to be tightened up, or it needs to be um, maybe twisted a little bit so that you understand each person. This has to do with relationships, because the planet, and could be a relationship, could be a friendship, it could be a family member, it could be a co-worker, it could be, because the planets are talking about relationships also, and lifting the relationships up. These are good energies in April through the planets, but the divine is saying we got to work on communication. um, Thank you. So the words they're saying, slow down. It's like immediately I heard that, slow down. We're too fast paced. We're too much doing this. We're too much looking on the computers. We're too much not paying attention. Huh? What did you say? When our mind is off somewhere else. It is really important to have whatchamacallit, active listening. Pretty much you need active listening. All right, so we'll work on that, or what the divine wants to say throughout the reading with that. The second card out, which is the current energies for this week, is the High Priestess. Can't tell you how many times this has come up this week. Cannot tell you how many times this has come up this week. That is because it is about discernment, prophecy, vision, and also pre-science. Pre-science meaning that it's second dimensional. You can't really prove it. You sort of know it's there, but you can't prove it. Okay. Future energy. I love this. Future energy. And that's again for the next couple of months. Things are starting to look up. Things are starting to look better. And joy. Joy is about your heart. Happiness is about your circumstances and what's happening around you. That's an earth-based energy. And then joy is a spiritual based energy. And with that, it is the number 10. So things are going to be finishing up, and new things are going to be actually moving forward. And new things, new. These are really good energies. April has a lot of good energies. If we can focus in on our balance, and we focus in on getting out of a rut. So there's two ways you can look at ruts. Ruts are either good, you're in a good rut, like you're having good things happening over and over and over again, or there's a rut that maybe a cycle keeps happening. For example, why do I keep picking the wrong guy? Why do I keep picking the wrong girl? Or why doesn't this relationship work out? It's a rut that somebody's in, a cycle, a pattern that you got to focus in on what the reason is, why it's happening that way, and how to get out of it. However, in April, with the moon in Libra, until we hit the 12th with the new moon, then it's going to be a little tough. It's like, as my daughter says, there's two crabs in a bucket and you're trying to get out of, and one crab's trying to push the other one up, but then pulling the other one down at the same time. So it's sort of like this push me, pull me kind of energy. So this is why this High Priestess is in the center, because we have to look at her discernment. Now, for those of you, I didn't know what discernment was for the longest time. Even when I was talking to a pastor, and every time I talked to him, he'd talk about his wife with discernment. I'm like, what is that? So of course you Google it. It's like, oh, intuition. Okay, yeah, we all have intuition. We all know the rights and the wrongs, the good things and the bad things. We all know what to do and not to do, that kind of a thing. However, some people fight it. So if your intuition says do this, or be careful of that, don't go there, but you go there anyway, and it doesn't turn out, well, you didn't pay attention to your intuition. Do you know that intuition is also spirit? And that's having faith and trust and believing in that intuition to make sure that you're going on the right path, the right process, that kind of thing. A lot of people don't realize that, but it is. Yes. So the first card out is the Hermit. And the Hermit is overlooking and seeing. It's if you can imagine the Hermit on top of the world, just sort of looking it over, saying, yeah, what's going on down there? Let's see what's going on down there. This is what's going on in your life as far as that. So the Hermit, when it's coming to this, it's the number 5 as well. You got communication, number 5. Then you got the number 9. Number 9 being very, very intense. Really pay attention to the things around you. Pay attention to what is happening, especially verbally. If somebody's miscommunicating, that is the opportune time to say, hey, You know, rather than fight about this, let me figure out your perspective, why you think that way. Because there's truth to both sides. There is truth to both sides. This is about communication. And there's an offering. So if you were to do that to somebody and have some active listening, that might be an offer that they've never had before or never had been received before. And it's a new creative energy, because you know what? In the future, it'll bring more joy because you begin to understand each other. So it's an active listening process. It's also paying attention, putting the phone down, putting the book down, putting whatever it is down, and really paying attention to each other in the communication process. And then you will actually be able to read. Now, if you have abilities, they will even open up wider or be awakening. They're putting together a drill press for me for my leather shop. I think something fell over. So if you heard a big kabang. But the thing is, it's going to change your whole perspective about things. Just stopping your perspective, and putting that aside for a minute, listening to somebody else's perspective, and you will get a clear and more clarity about what is going on in this other person's head and bring you even closer. All right. Yeah, I would figure he would show up because, of course. So we have the devil as the next card out. Whenever you get close to anything good that divine wants you to have, he's going to be right on your heels. For example, that argument that I was just talking about, hypothetically, that maybe you might have gotten into, but you stopped it. You started to get each other's perspective of it and why you think about it. So the argument didn't happen. He's not happy. So he's going to try to figure out a way to get you guys to argue, to get in a fight, because a sword is actually truth, right? You can either make it a truth, or you can split it and divide it. But here's the thing, the planets are talking about truth. They're talking about bringing balance. They're also bringing things together. It's about relationships. And what is it about relationships? Communication. Because this is the second card out. So that's the number one thing. All right. So this devil card can go take a hike. I love it when I tell him to go take a hike, you know. You don't need to be here. But the other thing too is we can learn. It's really important because we can really, really learn where we are bound to and what we're bound to. So if you look at the two people below, they look like they're chained to this devil. They're bound to him. They look like that they're sort of stuck there no matter what. But if you look really closely around their neck, those are loose enough for them to get out. They're choosing not to. Sort of like when we talk about the past, people choose to live in the past rather than move forward and put the past behind. This is the same thing. So what is it that you guys are bound to that you don't want to let go of? And this here, it's about communication. You know, this is about communication for somebody. Somebody's so bound to comfortable that they won't get out of their own box. Once you get out of the box and stop staying in that comfort zone, that's when you grow. So you cannot grow being comfortable. Like I talk to people, like especially if they're doing spiritual counseling or coaching, or if we talk about intuition or empath coaching. This is the thing, is you can't sit on the fence. Well, I sort of believe that there's something out there, but then you know what? I sort of don't. So you're sitting on the fence. That's called lukewarm. You can't. If you do, nothing's going to happen. You're not going to see progress. You're not going to see things happen. What you do have to do is step on one side of the fence or the other. I don't believe in it at all. Don't believe in it. Or I believe in it. And that's where this happens. This is where then you begin to communicate, because then you start seeing the intuition and things begin to happen that turn things around. All right, so you have to get on one side of the fence or the other. Being on the fence keeps you lukewarm. And by the way, it's painful sitting on that fence. Your butt's going to start to hurt. All right, so let's see what else is going on here. So we have the number 2. Oh, look at these arcanas. 1, 2, 3 arcanas. We got some major life changes here. There is going to be a major life change for somebody, having 3 arcanas right out of the chute. Yeah. So we have the 10 of Swords, the 9 of Pentacles, and then we have the Magician. So the 10 of Swords means this something is going to end quickly, and it's going to be by your choice. You're going to want to. You'll want to end it quickly because you'll see. Okay. You'll see. You'll see something coming good that you really, really want, and you'll want that to end. So there is a process because we have the 9 of Pentacles, which is very intense. You're very focused. Again, we might be looking at the Hermit, but not only with the 9 of Pentacles, the 9 of Pentacles is about a huge amount of rewards from the hard work that you have done. And at that hard work that you have done and finished, this is a beautiful time to now be able to reap your rewards. So that is coming. And some people believe in manifestation, some don't. However, the Magician is the one that says, you know what? And he's holding the wand or rod or what do you call that? Baton, that kind of a thing. And that's going upwards. However, that's just a symbol, but it also is to the divine. So he's asking the divine, what should I do? How should I do it? Where should I go? Because I want these rewards. I want things to happen. I want things to turn around. I want that growth. I'm tired of sitting on the fence. I'm tired of just being neutral in everything and nothing happening and nothing going about. All right. This something new is coming. Something definitely is coming. Something is going away. So I think maybe this is something of the past. Somebody's finally letting go of something of the past. Yeah. Look at this. 7 of Pentacles again. Yeah. So we have the 7 of Pentacles now, which is also too showing about good work. You're standing there, you're looking out. But this could also too, you know, the Pentacles are usually about finance and money and career and job and all that kind of stuff because it has to do with earthly possessions. Okay, like a house or whatever. You could be working on a house and you're finally done and you can stand in front of it and say, wow, we did that. Yeah. So this person is just looking at all the rewards that they have done through their sweat. What do they call it? Blood, sweat, and tears. But it's true because I've been through that. So I know. And it's very, very rewarding to stand there and say, wow, I did that. I cannot believe it. However, somebody just doesn't want to let go of it. Somebody's processing way too much, thinking way too much, and it's making them depressed because what's happening is you're, instead of spiraling up, you're beginning to spiral down. Because somebody's in the picture distracting you. I don't know who that is. Somebody is distracting you with this whole process. Don't know who that is. All right. So some of you have a partner that you need to learn their love language also. Their love language is not yours, and that's why you're creating maybe this depression. It's like, why doesn't he understand me? Why doesn't she understand me? Doesn't she realize that, you know, I really don't want flowers. That doesn't want to show me love. I really would like, you know, some affection, some touching, some feeling. That's my love language. So I want to feel that. Whereas if somebody keeps giving me flowers, you know, and it's not my language, then, you know, it's like, oh yeah, they're pretty. Okay. But I really need you to show me you love me. I just did. I gave you flowers, but they don't understand that's not your love language. Love language is touch. I need to be touched. I need to be hugged. I need to be kissed. I need to be held. So for somebody, they're not being fed. Now, if you haven't seen the video on love, there's this is what it talks about. There's a video, I think, under Transforming Your Mind, Spirit, Body in the playlist, and it is about love in the different levels and the different forms of love. It talks about the 5 love languages. It goes through all of that. That would be something in your communication, if you're having troubles in a relationship, to really, really go look at. There's also another one on communication. So I would strongly suggest those 2 videos. If you're having a problem with communication with a partner or even coworker or whatever, these 2 videos will help you a lot. Okay, they're free. Go watch them. All right. All you have to do is just go on to Divine Warrior in the playlist and you'll see them there. All right. I think one's got hearts all over it and the other one's got two horses talking to each other. One's talking and one's sort of listening, I think, is what the thumbnails are. Really good videos. I'm not tooting my own horn because it wasn't me. That was Divine's wisdom, not mine. All right. So let's go here. Twos, 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 twos. Ones, 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 ones. Something's really trying to come together, guys. The balance is trying to come together here because we have the Two of Wands again. This is for your future. This is for you guys in your future. We've got the Ace of Wands. Again, another second Ace of Wands. Somebody's trying to tell you something, a message, or something's trying to come in, share some information. This is really important. It is going to affect your future. It is going to help you. It's going to bring you up. All right. This is a good thing. And then we have the King of Swords. And the King of Swords, again, twice. So we have the King of Swords talking about the truth, trying to bring things together, trying to bring balance together. That is just part of the process that is happening in April, even with the moon and the planets. All right. So you've got two kings and you've got two aces. So who's offering you what? Because you have, and then the thing is with this offering, and so that was the last reading. In this offering, you just have to go by your intuition. All right, go by your intuition because it's really important. That will lead you and guide you in the right way because your joy is in the next 2 months. And the reason why I say that, okay, and you ended out really good actually here, but the reason why I say that is because during the month of March, we have to look at ourselves as part of a garden. And so in March, we were talking about getting our garden ready. That means our mind process and what we're thinking about and prioritizing and things like that. Whereas in a garden, we're cleaning out all the weeds. We're getting it ready to till, get the air in there, get all the ground broken up. We're getting the food and the nutrients, the water, putting it all in there, getting it ready to be able to plant. We're putting the fence up around it. We're making sure there's a door in the fence, not like a wall with no door. There is a door in the fence to let somebody in you want, let them out if you want, or maybe a habit that you don't want, let it out, or, want to bring healthy habits in, that kind of a thing. But it's you that can open and close that door. So when we talk about a wall, we do not want a complete wall because then there's no opportunities. You got to have a door in that wall and say, peekaboo, I'm still here. I'll let you in. Or I won't. You know what? You're too toxic. Bye-bye. So those kind of things that we do. Now in April, though, what the planets and what Divine and everything is talking about is that we are needing to put the seed in the soil. This is what's going on. We're putting the seed in the soil, and then you're like, okay, is it growing? Is it working? We can't see it, just like the Divine. We cannot see what he's doing behind the scenes. We cannot see what he's working on. That's what's going on here. He's watching. He's making sure that things are happening the way that should be happening to bring balance and truth. This is all about truth and communication. Are they getting along? Are they trying to communicate? Are they trying to figure each other out? Are they looking at each other's perspective? Because right now he's saying, you know what? People are so selfish down there, about ready to give up. It's very true. Very, very true. We're becoming very self-centered, more so than I think in my years that I've been on this earth. I see that we're more selfish people than we ever have been for the decades and decades I've been here. So this is what he's saying, communicate, love one another, help one another, be compassionate, be loving, being open, just be fulfilled with that. All right. But you are waiting for this seed to now grow roots. You can't see it. The planets are saying the same thing. You can't see it. So you got to learn to get balanced. And so go watch that video on the full moon of Libra for the end of March, because it is about your desires versus what you really need. And that is what you're struggling with. That's what a lot of people are struggling with. And this is what we're having the problem with, because it's keeping us in our rut. And so it's hard to get out of this rut. And some people are really having a challenge to get out of a rut that they're in. because you got to listen to your intuition. That'll help you get out of your rut. All right. That will completely help you get out of your rut. And what's really interesting, when you get out of your rut and you change that pattern, it's sort of like when you say you do things over and over the same way, you know, or how does it, when you keep doing something over and over the same way, it's insanity. Expecting different results, it's insanity. It is. And so, you know, this is where you're going to break that cycle, and it's going to bring joy because you get rid of it. You don't have to go back to it ever again. That's the learning lesson of that. So when we break a cycle, we're done. We don't have to go back. We can now keep moving forward. And that brings joy. That also is the number 10, brings completion of a cycle and brings us to a new cycle, brings us to a new fresh cycle that will allow into our garden, and will keep the weeds and all the poison and the toxic things out. All right. So that is your reading, guys. Woo, woo. Unbind yourself. Get yourself out of that rut. Get yourself out of a destructive behavior, a toxic person, a bad habit, a job that is just causing you so much stress that it's going to kill you, you know, physically, because you don't realize how much stress does damage, that kind of a thing. So, but you've got a lot of hard work in here, and it is going to pay off, and you're going to see it, but you got to open your eyes first, because this is talking about getting to stability with the 4. So, and somebody's going to try to sabotage you. Just say bye-bye. Somebody is being destructive, or like, nah, you're never going to do that. Get rid of them, because the thing is, or put them on the back burner, because you can bring them back later when you're healthy enough to tell them, no, don't do that anymore. But when you're not healthy enough, they need to go away for a while. I've been there, done that. Man, it was my mother. Yep, she was just, when I was bodybuilding, she just didn't believe in me. She was like, oh, here we go, another diet. Here we go, you know, up and down, up and down. Nope, I stayed on my thing, 215 pounds. Year later, 136 on a bodybuilding stage. Showed them. But it wasn't even that was not the mentality that I had at the time. I really wanted to drop the weight, but then I turned around and I said, it is not about losing the weight first that keeps it off. It is your spirit and your mentality. Because of the way we think, we'll keep eating and eating and eating and keep ourselves heavy. And that is what it's about, because it's backwards. And that's why I wrote the book back here. It is all about getting your mindset and your spirit in link and balance before you go lose the weight, because otherwise you're just gonna yo-yo. Boop, 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 boop. All right. So you guys have a wonderful week, wonderful week. If you watch this before the 4th or on the 4th, happy Easter if you celebrate Easter. I hope you guys have a blessed day. If you don't celebrate Easter, just be thankful that you are here today. Some people didn't make it to this day, so be blessed and thank God for that. And I hope you guys have a great week. Walk in absolute truth, which is divine truth, and walk in love. Take care.